So this video is about gluten sensitivity and my story with gluten. Okay, so my entire childhood, I always had a rash and no one could figure out why. Doctors would just give me hydrocortisone cream to stop the itching, but they never tried to figure out why I had this rash. So I was just always itchy and with a rash. And in 2013, I developed seasonal allergies and they really affected my singing. And 2013 was after I already graduated with my bachelor's and master's in music and I was working as a singer. So that totally sucked. So I was determined to, relieve these allergies. And I found this article by Dr. Aviva Ram with how to heal yourself from allergies naturally. And it was all about gut health and eliminating different things from your diet. And one of those things was gluten. So I was following Dr. Aviva Ram's program and I eliminated gluten. And I noticed that my rashes went away. So I knew it was food related. Eczema can be caused by a variety of different things. It could be something outside, something in your home, something in your laundry detergent, something like that. But for me, I figured out that it was food. So I didn't have a rash anymore, which was great, but my health actually was going downhill. I remember getting sick on the subway. I couldn't control it. I remember not being able to walk up the hill to my home because I lived in a neighborhood that was on a hill and I had to walk downhill and back up every day for my commute because I worked in the city and I always took the subway. And as a young person, I should be able to walk up a hill no problem. And I felt like I was going to collapse. I knew something was terribly wrong. I went to a few doctors under my insurance plan and all they tried to do was give me drugs for my allergies, which I appreciated because I needed them until I figured it out. And they tried to get me on birth control for my hormones. And I wanted to get to the root cause of what was making me so ill. And I knew birth control would just be a Band-Aid solution. So I went to a naturopathic doctor. So ND is after a naturopathic doctor's name instead of MD, like, most doctors that your insurance will cover. And she was great. She took out some supplements that I was taking that was in Dr. Aviva Ram's program that she said wasn't working for me. She did a lot of blood work. She figured out that I'm allergic to nuts and sesame via the blood work. And gluten didn't come up as an allergy on the blood test, but she explained there are a lot of different types of allergies, that I have a sensitivity to gluten, and she said to continue keeping gluten out of my diet. She helped me so much. She balanced my hormones and everything. I didn't have to take birth control. But that is how I resolved my eczema. I figured out that it was wheat, gluten, nuts, and sesame. And I tested all of these out too. I would be rash-free and I'd eat a handful of pistachios and I'd break out. I'd be rash-free and I would try pecan pie. I love pecan or pecan pie. So delicious. And then I would break out in a rash, and same with gluten. So I did not have gluten since 2013. So here we are in 2019. So I did not eat gluten for 7 years. I ate a lot of rice, potatoes, and the gluten-free options that had like rice, potato, or bean flour. During this time, I also read all about gut health, and I knew that my gut was probably causing me to have this sensitivity to gluten. So I took probiotics. I still take probiotics, but made sure to take all these past 7 years. These are just from the vitamin shop. And I also made sure to get probiotics naturally in my diet. I would eat a bit of yogurt, but not too much because the yogurt and other dairy products give me a lot of phlegm for singing, so that just doesn't work for me. But I would eat this sauerkraut from Trader Joe's, which is raw and fermented. So I know there are probiotics in here. If you just get sauerkraut that is not raw, that's shelf stable, That's not going to have the probiotics in it. And also kimchi. If you like kimchi, eat kimchi. I unfortunately don't like it, but I do force myself to eat it if I'm out eating Korean food. Anyway, so I really prioritized probiotics. Recently this year, I was reading about gluten sensitivities and intolerances, and I was reading about the wheat in the US, how it's like Franken wheat, it's been genetically modified so that the crop will yield more so that we can feed more of the nation. I was also reading about Roundup, which is used on our crops, and I read someone's story that they ate wheat from Europe or something and they were fine, but they were sensitive to wheat in the US. So when my husband and I went to Peru, we brought back some wheat flour, and my husband made a cake and I ate that cake every day for 5 days to see if I would break out in a rash. And I did not break out in a rash. It was awesome. So my father-in-law brought back all of these bags of wheat flour from Peru, and I've been baking and it's been awesome. So then I started trying, wheat products from other countries. I would eat cookies from IKEA. I found German crackers in the store and I was fine with those. So then I tried organic wheat from the US and I was fine with that. Then I tried non-organic wheat products from the US, and sometimes I was fine and sometimes I was not. So in conclusion, I've healed my gluten sensitivity via probiotics, but it took a long time. It took years, and I still can't have nuts or sesame. That is an allergy that I believe I'll have for life. But I'm so excited that I can eat gluten again. Just eating a sandwich whenever I want tastes so amazing. I love sandwiches and just bread and butter. So good, because before, when I bought gluten-free bread, I would ration it out so it would last longer, because gluten-free bread is pretty expensive. Anyway, I am just loving life, eating sandwiches, eating all the gluten, but I'm trying to be careful not to overdo it and to remember to take my probiotics, because I don't want to go back to where I was 7 years ago and be getting eczema rashes from gluten. Anyway, that is my gluten sensitivity story and why I couldn't eat gluten before and now I can. So if you are sensitive to gluten, you could consider making some dietary changes. Make sure your diet is nutrient rich and take probiotics, eat kimchi, sauerkraut, but I would definitely give it time. I wouldn't want you to hurt yourself. I know some people have a stronger reaction to gluten if they're gluten sensitive. So, I'm not a doctor. You could see a naturopathic doctor and talk to them about all of this and see what they recommend. And of course, if you have celiac or some other condition like that, probiotics aren't going to heal you from celiac, of course. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope at least one of you benefits from this information. I know as a Catholic, I'm so relieved that I'm not sensitive to gluten anymore, because I hated being that Catholic who had to request a gluten-free host or a low gluten host at Mass. I travel a lot, and sometimes I just would take the regular host and just offer it up as a suffering to God if I got a rash, because I did not want to, jump through the hoops to get a low gluten host. And low gluten hosts aren't even available at all parishes. Thank you so much for watching, and sorry I didn't post a video last week. Life got a little crazy. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you're having a great week. God bless you. Bye.